We've got some fresh new young talent doing some things that I know you haven't heard before.
1, 2, 3, listen.
You got to have the why, and we know our why. So
You don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Millions and millions of people have done this already. You can get help, you can get a roadmap, you can save a lot of time, money, and frustration. Welcome to the Value Add Podcast with K&K. Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 1 of the Value Add Podcast with Kenny and Crystal. I'm Crystal Moore, and
I'm Kenny Simpson, or most people call us K&K. That's why it's called Value Add with K&K.
Clever, right? So today we want to, for our first episode, really just give you guys a background of who we are and how we met and why we're doing or starting a podcast. So, Kenny?
What? Are you asking me to answer that question?
Okay, I guess we should talk a little bit about how we met, and then we can go into like what brought us here today. So, Kenny and I were actually introduced by my mother. So
What year?
2009.
Wrong.
2008, late 2008.
She's already forgetting. It's okay.
So anyways, we kind of kid around that it was a arranged marriage because we're married now and we have a baby and all those fun things finally. So anyways, we met in 2008. It was like probably the worst time in the economy. And
Or at least our economy.
yeah,
Our
for
lives.
us. I didn't know how hard of a time Kenny was going through. We were just talking about that when we met. I thought I was going through a rough time, but apparently he was going through a little rougher of a time.
Where were you living then?
I was living in San Francisco, and you were living in a shack behind the animal shelter in Encinitas.
Yep. It was 2008. I think it was Thanksgiving.
It was right around
The
Thanksgiving.
day after Thanksgiving, I was at my sister's house, and your mom's like, "Oh, come out. It's all couples," or no, it's all just single people. And I got there and it's all couples, and your mom like jams you in that seat. We were at Harney Sushi.
And you looked like a slob. You wore
Yes.
the most.
I didn't want to go. I was tired.
Yeah.
I ate too much. My sister's like, "Get up and go, you lazy butt. Like, don't be lazy." She goes, "You're gonna dress like that?" I go, "Yeah. What does it matter?"
He should have listened to his sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, I didn't call Crystal for a month. She thought that was weird.
It was.
And
then when he texted me finally, it was in all capitals. And my friends were like, "Why are you dating this guy? He's not really that smart."
But we weren't dating. So then you came back down as Christmas. And then we hung out. And then you went back up. And then we started talking a lot. And I think you came back down like maybe a couple more times. And then I just said, why don't we just
Drive up to San Francisco.
drive up to San Francisco? No, you
That
drove
was-
you drove your car down. You drove the Prius down. And then I said, why don't you drive your car down? You drove the Prius down. I said, why don't we just fly back up to San Francisco? And then we flew up, rented a U-Haul, and we drove back down. That's what we did. And then you're like, I want to share the U-Haul. I want to help drive. And then it was like, oh, great. 30 minutes into the drive, you're like, I'm tired. And she pulls the U-Haul over.
I thought it would
And
be
she
cool to
made
drive
me
a
drive
big
the
truck.
whole entire way. I was like, this is ridiculous. Half an hour. And she goes, I got to see the city. And she like slept the whole time. I was like, you're like, I don't know. I'm just tired. I'm going to crash the car. I
Something
never
about driving in cars makes me sleepy. So anyways, fast forward, we moved in really fast. Nobody agreed with it. I've never lived with a guy before in my life, but
Nope.
so we were both like, what are we gonna do? We're both kind of down and out. Like I thought I didn't want to do real estate anymore. I had been doing financing since like 2003, but I had decided I was over it. So I was kind of in between and just floundering a bit. And Kenny was going through like a hard time with his partner at that time. And I kind of just said to Kenny, like, why don't you just separate from this guy? What are you doing? And so we decided to start our business back up. And that was when we lived together in the shack behind the animal shelter. And we had our office. I was in the living room and Kenny was in the dining room. And we started calling clients and drumming up business, I guess. It kind of all just took off from there. So
Me just proving Crystal wrong all the time.
yeah, I never thought we were going to get out of the living room and the dining room. I didn't really see how that was going to happen. And he said, just watch. Like one of these days, you're going to look back and you're going to really enjoy those times. And also, you're not going to believe where we're at. Like, we're going to get out of this office or out of this apartment in a few months, and we're going to be in an office. And that happened. We moved to Mission Hills.
Moved to Mission Hills. You said that won't happen. And then we got an office, said it wouldn't happen. Then we got a bigger office that you said it wouldn't happen. And then you're like, we're going to buy a house. You never want to buy a house. When are we going to buy a house? So then we bought a house. We scrounged up the money, bought a house, and that was a project. We bought the house in 2012 for $545,000.
And we got the house by mistake, actually.
We got the house by mistake because this realtor actually faxed our offer back and was supposed to fax it to her clients, which means technically in real estate it's accepted. So we bought the house for $545,000, redid the inside, and then moved out, lived in it for a little bit, moved out, got plans and permits, and then rebuilt the whole entire house. Well, I kind of built at the time your dream house, and you got mad at me, and then we sold it for $1 million, almost $1.4 million.
Yep.
And we took that money, and we've been.
That's how we bought our first apartment building.
Yep. And then kept going. So that's kind of how we met quickly. We moved quickly out of our apartment, our 1-bedroom apartment, started up, kept moving up and up and up, and just, continuing to push ourselves and grow and grow and grow, and obviously reinvest our money. And then we started getting to travel, and we got a dog, then we got another dog, and
then we had a baby, and
now 10 years later, and what is this, November, whatever we are, 2018. Yeah, we've got 2 dogs, a baby, and we're here.
And a podcast.
Yeah, and a podcast.
So,
go figure.
Yeah, I guess we should talk a little bit about why we wanted to start Value Add. There's like a whole bunch of story in between there, like business-wise, as to how we kind of got our experience being apartment owners or investors, however you want to call it, to getting to the point where we decided that we needed to kind of just put this information out there and share it with people so that they could, if they wanted to invest, which we highly recommend, they could get kind of tips and tricks and information on how to do that. And really a whole bunch of different things, but for sure we're both passionate about owning real estate and investing your money rather than, even paying a mortgage to own a house, or, buying fancy cars or any of that stuff. I think, first and foremost, investing is our top of the list.
Well, I think it's too what we're around.
Yeah.
A lot of, I would say all of your clients, most of them make a full-time living off it, or 50% living off it, or they're working to make a full-time living off it, right? That's what we're surrounded by. That's what we know. Those are the people we study. I think we just live in that world. So that's what you kind of like the world you live in. If you're around people that like to shop and spend all their money, you might tend to be that kind of person too. So we're just that type of person. But obviously, I think that really set us apart is just doing the property management business. That was, we don't get into that. It's another episode, but that was just really where we took our experience from, like, we're getting into the space to now, as people call us, like we're well-rounded investors, or, we're experts or whatever. We never think we're experts because you're always learning, but we learned a lot. We helped a lot of people, worked really hard, but that kind of brought us here too. It's like, we have a lot of value we can get back. Just owning real estate's one thing, managing real estate's a completely different thing, as you and I would agree.
Yeah, for sure. And we kind of fell into management. And when we decided to take it on, it was really because we wanted to own apartments one day. And we thought, hey, that'd be a really good experience for us. So we fell into property management, grew that really quickly, and just short version of the story, sold it. And then in between all that time, the management helped us. We fell into like rehabbing buildings. We got a lot of contacts with different vendors and contractors and people that we work with. And that really helped us with investing in real estate. So I think it was really smart for us in that way, but also it just helped us to become really well-rounded. So now from an investing standpoint, we've done it all. We own apartments, but I've represented clients to purchase and sell their buildings. We've managed their buildings. We've renovated their buildings, and
we've added value to their buildings. Yeah. I mean, we've helped them grow portfolios a lot. I mean, we made them money. And obviously our expertise is in financing, putting them in the correct financing, getting them out, refinance, whatever, help purchase, all that, both residential and commercial. So we've done it. We're pretty well rounded when it comes to real estate. The only thing we probably haven't done is been a real estate attorney. Although we
Escrow title.
escrow and
There's
title.
a couple things.
Yeah.
Couple things.
Just those things. But, to kind of wrap it up, I think we just, I look back in 10 years, just from when we met, where we had like all the stuff we've done, it's crazy. It's literally insane. Like if I had told you we were going to do all this when I met you, you'd be like, yeah, right, you're crazy. I remember we started Pacific Shore Management. I'm like, we were talking about, yeah, we'll probably be like at 500 units in like 5 years. In like 3 years, we were over 1,000 units, and we didn't even like ask for the business. So anyways, like wrapping that up, but there's just, it's been a very interesting, exciting, hardworking, a lot of experience, and I'm excited to bring people on this podcast too that we know that have had similar experiences in their lives, that we get to hear their stories, because I love hearing people's stories and learning from them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing that we're learning too now, especially being new parents, is that our time is really valuable, and it's also much more limited than it used to be. We still work a lot and we work really hard, but at the same time, we've had to kind of minimize or kind of prioritize what it is that we'd rather be doing, or where our time is most valuable. So now we're trying to get back to focusing mainly on our business, which has been financing, which I've been doing for 16 years now, and Kenny's been doing for 15. He does residential financing. I do commercial financing, and then continuing to invest, because that's always our goal, is to be financially independent.
Isn't that crazy? You started doing that when you were 19. It's crazy, right?
Yeah, I just feel really old other than that. But yeah, I was just saying the other day, it's like I keep telling everybody like 5 years ago. No, it's more like 10 years ago now when I tell a story to people. But so I don't want to end up being one of those people that's like telling stories from 20 or 30 years ago. I've got to get a handle on that. But
so like in your opinion, like starting Value Add, I know we kind of talked about really why we started it is, like I said, is just to bring value to our audience. And the way I look at it is like we get to meet all the time interesting people, successful people as our clients, know a lot of stuff, and we know a lot of people, and we're going to continue to meet more people. But if we can sit down and have lunch, breakfast, dinner, whatever we're doing, why not just put it on a recording and talk to it? And then while we're learning something from that person, everybody else who wants to listen or not listen or whatever you want to do with it, they can maybe learn something. Just as we listen to podcasts, we live in this world, we all listen to podcasts because we like to hear people's stories, what they have, right? Whether it's about a car or a real estate or a parenting or whatever. I think also too, kind of wrapping this up so we're not blabbing on forever. Like, what are you passionate about these days?
Well, it's funny you say that, because I think most people would say like, I like walking on the beach or hiking or these things. I think for me and for us, we still love real estate. We love renovating properties still. Like, we're passionate about it on the weekends. A lot of times you find us at Home Depot shopping for things, or driving our properties, or kind of strategizing on the next thing that we want to invest in, or those kinds of things. Obviously, being a parent is super fun. I have to pry myself away from our little girl, Harlow, on the weekends. I definitely love snuggling and cuddling with her. She's 7 weeks old today, so she's just like super cute and cuddly. It's really, really hard to get away from that. And then I think really just trying to improve ourselves and our lives, and now provide the best for our child. So.
And you get to start working out again.
That's on the list. We're getting there.
What else are you passionate about?
Very soon.
Besides work and Harlow and working out? Do you like to shop?
Do I like to shop? I don't know. I feel like we rehab our property so much that I actually almost feel guilty shopping, but I do like it. I like it. Yeah.
You like beauty and all that stuff, though?
I do like that stuff.
You like all that?
Yeah.
Stuff.
I like getting like a bargain on that stuff.
Yeah.
Now.
You like getting your eyelashes, what do you call it?
Oh, eyelash perm. A lash lift.
Perm. Every time, every week it's a new
That's like
thing.
a separate video or something, but it is good.
I was just saying.
So much better than lash extensions.
Okay. Just, there you go. Whatever the hell that is. Yeah, I think for me, passions currently, obviously being a dad has been awesome. Finding the balance with it all. I still love my morning routines. I love to work out. I love to get up at 4:30. So sometimes it's getting up at 3 and staying up because of Harlow, or 2:30.
Do you think like 4 hours of sleep is balance?
No, that's why I try to go to bed at 8:30 if I can.
Okay, just making sure
Yeah.
that there's no other nutballs out there like waking up at
I'm
2
sure there
a.m.
is.
and going to the
There is.
staying awake
I'm
and
not the
going to
only
the gym
one.
at 4.
I can't be the only one.
Okay.
Still surfing, all that, but obviously health and fitness is huge for us. I think just because we're in the generation where we can see people and all that's fun stuff, and you need to learn from people that are problems, whatever. So we have so much information at us that it's no excuse to whatever you want to do these days. You can go out and learn, right? It's just like Google or YouTube or Facebook, Instagram, it's all there. So, and obviously our big passions are real estate investing. And then obviously there's other stuff we're investing in that we're not going to get into today, but that will go into the future. But, we're kind of entrepreneur. We've kind of had that going for each other, and we kind of supporting each other. And most of our money is just, we're trying to put it to work. And then I would just say, like, to kind of wrap up, the type of guests we're looking to have on this program are, from entrepreneurs to real estate investors to stuff we're passionate about. I'm thinking it could be anything. I mean, we're passionate about if your marriage is having problems, you should go see a counselor, and we just are proactive about that, or anything, like whatever. We're just our passions. We're going to bring people on and talk to them about it and learn more. And then I would say, what are we working on, Crystal? What are we working on in our business right now? What is important 2019, because we're already there. Like, what are we going to be focusing on that we've really never done?
Well, I think we mentioned this on the Instagram live we did with the Apartment Geek. He asked me the same question, what's our focus? And 2019 is really about branding our business, because I can speak for myself. I've never really focused on marketing. Pretty much ever since I've gotten in the business, I've built my business off of referrals. So I've really done a real crap job at any sort of marketing I ever tried to do. And also It's never been consistent ever, because the deals just keep coming in and my phone keeps ringing, and
Lucky.
I need to, step outside of that and really kind of put myself out there. So now is the time. And I've got a giant over here next to me pushing me. So 2019 is all about marketing and branding our business and sharing value, providing value to our clients and people that we work with and people that we know. I mean, Kenny and I's kind of philosophy has always been to surround ourselves with people that are smarter than us. And I think we've done that. And luckily we're in a business that allows us to do that. A lot of our clients tend to be friends that we hang out with, that we know personally, and they're a lot more successful and a lot smarter than us in different ways, and we really just love to kind of learn from them and soak up that information. And so now we want to kind of pay it forward by giving back and providing other people with that information. We get a lot of questions, and now it's like, let's just put it on a public platform where people can get that information anytime. They can listen to it in the car, or like while they're getting ready in the morning, anytime. So
what are you most excited about? One, about the podcast, and two, about going into marketing and branding and all that stuff?
I think I'm just excited, again, to share value with other people. Like, my goal has always been, or the thing that really is most rewarding to me about what I do, is helping people. I know that I'm not curing cancer or like saving the world, but I do like, I like the feeling of getting somebody a low rate or figuring out how to get them financing when they didn't think it was possible. I like to help people build their portfolios and to expand. And if you don't have a loan, you don't have a deal. So that's one of the most rewarding things, I think, is just giving back to people or adding value to them. And about the marketing, I think just finally doing it, really. I think more so I am not good at it because I've never done it, and it's a little bit intimidating to me. So doing something that is a little bit scary and pushing myself to do it is probably what I'm excited
called
for.
Getting comfortable.
Being uncomfortable.
With being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to wrap up, I think for me, I'm excited. I think what we're doing here is obviously, we're not the first ones to do this, but obviously what we're doing here is what we believe is the future, and business is going to be, as Bill Gates said, I think now everybody says it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. If you're not online, you're out of business. And I don't care what industry you're in. I think you need to be doing, video, branding, marketing, all that stuff. And if you're not in 5 years, I think you're going to really miss the boat. And we decided to just leapfrog and do this and, put time, money, investment, because that's what this all is, into it. And just like we've invested time and money into our health and parenting and wellness and ourselves and traveling and investing and all that, we decided to put it in here. So I'm super excited. And I think I'm excited that we finally got our first
episode
podcast
under our belt.
done.
Yeah.
So everybody, we look forward to bringing you more content and stuff. And thanks for hanging out.
Thanks, guys.